Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I see our participant number climbing. We're just giving a few moments for everyone to get in. Hopefully you've just had a marvelous meal, or maybe you're eating right now, which is very appropriate for tonight's program. We'll just give a few more seconds. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Megan Douglas. I am the manager of public programs here at the Newark Museum of Art, and I am very excited about tonight's program. Before we begin, I want to ask everyone to do me just one quick favor, and I want you to think. You can either think about this in your mind, you can type it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you all. And let us know about what you're thinking your favorite food is. So just take a moment, meditate on that. Maybe you're thinking of something you've eaten recently. Maybe you have a favorite that's your go-to, but just take one moment. You can put this in the chat. You can write it in the comments below for our friends following us on social media. What is your favorite food? And you're probably wondering, why is Megan asking me this? Well, tonight's program is all about food. So I'm very excited. I'm excited to see some answers coming in. This is wonderful. You can share in the chat. You can also just hold that right up in your mind. Maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe you're going to get some of your favorite food later today. Maybe you just finished having some of your favorite food. But tonight I'm joined by some people I consider to be food experts. I am so pleased to be joined tonight by AeroFarms. And I hope you all have heard that name before as I said it, that company. But I wanted to share a little bit about AeroFarms. They are located right here in Newark, New Jersey. And AeroFarms is transforming agriculture. We're going to learn about what that means tonight. They are certified B Corporation. They use aeroponics, artificial intelligence, and plant biology to fix our food system and improve the way fresh produce is grown and distributed locally and globally. So that is huge. And we're going to dive into a little bit of what all of that means tonight. It's very exciting. And I'm joined by two plant scientists. I have with me Natasha and Jillian. We're going to bring them on in just one moment, and you'll be able to meet them and hear from them. So welcome, Natasha and Jillian. Hi. How are you both doing tonight?
Good, happy to be here.
We are so excited to have you both. Thank you so much for joining us. You have such a cool title, such a cool job, plant scientist. Can you tell us a little bit about your roles at AeroFarms?
Yeah, so I am a plant scientist, which means I design and conduct experiments related to the farm and yields. I also work in collaboration with our various partners to enhance our scientific capabilities and business development. So basically, I find ways to make our plants tastier, nutritious, and fresher for the consumer.
I'm Natasha. I'm a plant scientist as well. I work on developing new products for sale and also improving the products that we currently sell in production. So I conduct experiments to improve the yield and the quality of those products.
Incredible. You two have some pretty amazing jobs. It sounds like they're complicated, very scientific, very much something someone might consider to be the opposite of, what we do and what I do at the museum in the art world. But the reason that we're so excited to have you both here tonight is because the museum just launched a brand new exhibition called Endangered. And been talking with Natasha and Jillian about this exhibition in the weeks leading up to this program. And it's all about endangered animals. And in our partnerships with AeroFarms, we said, you know what? People know about endangered animals. They've learned about endangered animals, and hopefully you'll come by the museum and you'll learn even more about it. But something people don't talk about enough and maybe know enough about is this idea of endangered food, right? So we're really excited to dive into this with you two tonight, which leads me to what I would like to hear from you all about next, which is your mission at AeroFarms. Tell us a little bit about AeroFarms' mission.
Yeah, so at AeroFarms, we're on a mission to grow the best plants possible for the betterment of humanity. So we've been transforming agriculture with people and the planet in mind since 2004. So as you mentioned, we are a certified B corporation. So this lets us use the latest breakthroughs in indoor farming, artificial intelligence, plant biology to fix our broken food system and improve the way that we grow plants and distribute them.
Wow. And just to give everybody an idea, that image behind you, Jillian, is like a sneak peek into AeroFarms. I mean, that's the farm right behind you, right?
Great. So that's my background is the tower. So we grow vertically. So we can grow a lot of plants in a very small amount of space. And it's pretty impressive to see it in person.
And what do you all grow? I know that's the question. Everyone's like, okay, AeroFarms, we got it. It's a vertical farm. They're starting to understand it. Maybe they've seen you all on the shelf at their local grocery store. But what do you all grow?
So we commercially sell all different types of leafy greens, like microgreens and baby leafy greens. And you can find us at ShopRite and Whole Foods and other retailers like that.
So if you love greens, or if you're trying to eat more greens, because I think that's something we're all working on, right? Whether we like them or not, we want more greens in our diet. Look for AeroFarms on the store shelf. Well, that brings me to our first question of the evening, and this is for you all watching at home. This is for everybody on Zoom and social media. We want to get you all involved. We want to see what you know before we start to kind of really bring you into this and fully unveil all this information. So this is a little bit of a contest. Whoever can answer this the quickest is going to receive a prize. It'll be a prize from AeroFarms. It's a kit of reusables to help you on your journey to being more eco-friendly, something I think we're all working on. And so I'm going to ask you all a question and get your keyboards ready, get your fingers ready, and see who can be the fastest to type it in the comments or the chat below. And the question is, can you all name one way you can help create a resilient food system? Can you name one way you can help create a resilient food system? Okay, we have some answers coming in. Jillian and Natasha, if you see the right first answer, you tell me, and we'll see who our winner might be. Tons of answers coming in.
Yeah, I'm inclined to go with vertical farming, but I think there was a correct answer that was first.
Is that Lizette? Did Lizette win? I see composting came in first on mine. What about you all?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, we have tons of excellent answers. It looks like Lizette might have been like a typist or something in her former life because she was the quickest. So we're going to go with composting. Lizette, if you will private chat your email address to Emily, you can do that below in the chat. You can click the drop down menu and just go ahead and send your email address over to Emily. They've got a little prize for you. And I want to say, Mel, Claire, Daniel, great jobs, eating more greens, gardening, vertical farming. These are all really good answers, I think, but I want to hear from Natasha and Jillian because they're the experts. So how does indoor growing help create resilient food systems?
Right. So our operation at AeroFarms is a circular design. So that means it's a closed system. So we can maximize our outputs while reducing the amount of resources that we're using. So this allows us to grow with 95% less water, 99% less land, no pesticides, and a very small portion of fertilizers that are typically used in conventional field farming. So we can grow the plants locally and consistently year round, regardless of the weather or the season.
That's incredible. I know there's some gardeners probably on this call here today that are jealous, a little envious, because that is really incredible way to have that circular system. Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier that the theme of our exhibition that we just put up, few weeks ago is about endangered animals. And tonight we're talking about endangered foods. So why do endangered foods exist? Maybe you all can just shed a little light on what an endangered food is, why we have them, and what can we do about it? How can we curb this?
So the planet is changing. Climate change and inconsistent weather has endangered food systems in field farming. The rising temperatures across the globe are affecting the salinity in our soil and altering pests and diseases, while the rising CO2 and air pollution is impacting the nutritional content of our plants. The increase in extreme storms like wildfires and droughts are destroying entire food systems. This makes it difficult to grow food in traditional methods. Populations are also continuing to rise, making growing food more crucial. To curb the risk of endangered foods, we can shop more locally or grow foods in different ways, like in indoor farming. AeroFarms uses 99% less land and 95% less water because we grow vertically. So it's a great way to reduce the risk of endangered foods.
Thank you so much, Natasha. One of the projects that I know you all are working on at AeroFarms involves growing heirloom or otherwise difficult to grow crops. And maybe you can shed a little light on what that term heirloom means. How do you do that? Like, what's the process behind that?
Yeah, so I think Natasha touched on it. Climate change is making it more difficult to grow these heirloom or preserved varieties. So we're in collaboration with Cargill, which is to optimize the cocoa plant using different technologies like aeroponics and hydroponics, where we have control over the lights, the temperature, the water, the irrigation, the nutrients, and we can optimize these conditions, which we are hoping to help farmers increase yields as well as enhance disease resistance. This also opens kind of an interesting opportunity where we can kind of get the full potential of the cocoa bean in flavor and in color by having complete control over the environment. So this research really is helping this endangered food and secure it for future generations.
So important, especially all the things you mentioned, Natasha, aren't going away. You know, we're trying to fix them, but they're not going anywhere. Can you all talk a little bit about the grow process and why some varieties are harder to grow than others?
Yeah, so we currently grow in the closed loop system, like Jillian mentioned before, but we grow on something called an aerocloth, so it's a soilless media made from recycled plastic, and we use LEDs as our light source. So some of the varieties are more difficult to grow because there's a different germination requirements for each variety. We also need different nutrient requirements and light requirements. So this makes them very difficult to grow in our system, or any system really. But at AeroFarms, we create specific growing recipes for each variety that we grow. And fine-tuning these details allows us to grow all types of plants.
Now I have to know, I'm going a little off script here. What's your favorite green that you all grow? I'm very curious. I'm sure both of you have either a favorite, like because of what it tastes like, or maybe you like the look or the way it grows easier or something like that.
Mine's micro broccoli. It's really got a different taste, and it has a beautiful color to it. You can find it at, I think it's at ShopRite or Whole Foods. It's one of the best ones that I've tasted.
Yeah, and I like the spicy micro mix. You can kind of just put it on everything. It adds a nice touch of color and a little bit of spice.
I think I've tried both of those from you all. The spicy one though gets me a little. It has a little bit of spice to it, right, Jillian? Like, yeah, I'm real sensitive to spice, but my husband loves it. So I'm moving on here to our next question that I want to throw your way. As an innovative vertical farming company, do you see the way we grow food changing in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So indoor farming can provide sustainable, safe, and local food systems. We need to change the way we think about growing plants because of climate change, and there's a serious strain on supply and demand. And this will lessen the impact that these endangered foods will have on food and fuel and medicine.
Such good points. If there was one thing you wanted everyone on the call today to kind of walk away with, something that they could hold on to, maybe it's something they do at home or something they keep in the back of their mind, about endangered food, and is specifically related to, you know, what you all are doing at AeroFarms, what would that be?
I would definitely say to shop locally. This can help reduce the distance a product will travel before it reaches your local supermarket. The longer the food has to travel, the more fossil fuels are burned, allowing more harmful greenhouse gas emissions to be released into the atmosphere. When you purchase locally, not only are you reducing pollution, but you know where your food is coming from, and that makes it more fresh and more nutritious.
I love that, Natasha. And that, you know, I can't wait for everyone to come over to the museum, the Newark Museum of Art, and check out our exhibition Endangered, because you'll see my graphic back here. You know, Jillian and Natasha have these incredible towers from AeroFarms, but I'm showcasing this fun info illustration here that does tie in a lot to what you're saying, Natasha. You know, we dive into in this exhibition a little bit about what we can do about shopping locally and taking reusable bags with us when we go to the store. Even simple as using less water if we can help it. You know, when you're brushing your teeth, just shutting the tap off. And those simple things that I think we get busy, and you know, we're all so busy that it just kind of, it goes by the wayside. So I'm going to throw a question back to the audience here. I hope everyone is ready and poised, got their fingers on the keyboard. We've been talking, we've been chatting, we've been learning a little bit from AeroFarms, and I have another question I want to ask you all. We'll see who the fastest person is to get an answer in the chat. This is on Zoom or Facebook or social media. Just type in the comments below. I want to know if anyone on our program today can name for me one natural resource that contributes to a resilient food system. So again, fastest person who can come in hot in the chat or in the comments is going to get a prize pack from AeroFarms. Can you name for us one natural resource that contributes to a resilient food system? Jillian and Natasha, you let me know when you see, you know, you all know the right answers here.
Yeah, I saw water on there. I think that was one of the first ones, right?
Oh, is it, you think we got Claire? Claire's the winner tonight? All right, Claire, if you can private message Emily, give her your email address. We love, AeroFarms would love to send you a little goodie bag. And I want to ask Jillian, Natasha, these other answers we've got here. Let me know which ones of these other ones would you have accepted as well?
I think they're all
water, worms, bees, fungi, carbon. Are those all right on the money? Excellent job, Claire. You were the fastest. You were able to get in there quickest. And for anyone who might have joined late, can you, Jillian or Natasha, can one of you remind us about resilient food systems? Can you remind us what that term means? I see we had a few numbers go up right after we had passed that question. I just want to make sure anyone who might have joined us a few minutes late knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, so resilient food systems are closed systems that improve sustainability. So at AeroFarms, we are able to have a circular design that allows us to grow with a lot less resources. So we use 99% less water, or 95% less water, 99% less land, no pesticides, a very small portion of fertilizers. And this allows us to not only protect the environment and be more sustainable, but to produce plants year
So I feel like, because I'm kind of processing as you're saying it, as someone who's like not super sciencey, unfortunately, I wish I was more. It's kind of like getting the most yield you can from kind of using the fewest resources, I guess.
Yeah, and in fact, a lot of the resources can be recycled, so they don't, go to waste.
Incredible. Okay, well, I've got one more question for you two before we open it up to our Q&A time, because we want to give time for our viewers to ask you all some questions, see what they can come up with that we haven't covered yet. But why should people care about growing with less resources? So kind of what, on the heels of what we were just talking about with resilient food systems, why should people care about growing with less resources and thinking about how food supplies are grown that way?
Yeah, so agriculture takes up a lot of our natural resources. So it's really important that we understand how we interact with our food systems and how that impacts the ecosystem and the planet. Populations are rising, resources are climate change is making it much more difficult to grow plants in conventional farming ways, and supply chains are continuing to be strained. So sustainability is super important, not only to feed the local communities, but to protect the environment and create strong local economies.
Exactly. It's food is so important. We all love it, but we all need it to survive, to exist. And with that, the food chains as well, as you mentioned. So I would love to know just a little bit about the day in the life of Natasha and Jillian. So what does a plant scientist do? And, what would you study, even to become a plant scientist? Can you unpack that just a little bit for those watching who are thinking, plant science, that's pretty interesting.
Sure. So in our day-to-day job, we conduct experiments, we design, conduct, and carry out experiments to increase yields and different quality of the products that we're growing. And we also do other things like we seed and we harvest and we grow the plants. So we take care of them over the amount of days we're growing it for. And what do we study? A lot of us study plant science. Some people study biology. What else do they study, Jillian?
Yeah, so we have some food scientists like yourself. So just get out there and see what you like. I think I started, volunteering in a greenhouse in my undergraduate degree, and one thing led to another and ended up in grad school for plant science at Rutgers. So really just get out there and try it, see what you like, and just keep going and take some science classes and see where you fit in.
Incredible. And I have to know, because you mentioned it, Natasha, is there some quality control? Do you have to do some taste tests throughout the day, make sure everything's tastes in the right way, maybe get a little nibble of greens as your workday goes on?
Yeah, definitely. We do a lot of tasting at our job before harvest and after harvest to see what the final product tastes like.
That's so fun. It's like, did you bring lunch today? You're like, no, I'm doing quality control. We're fine. So with the weather getting colder, I have one final question for you all before we turn over to some Q&A. And I see a couple questions popping into our Q&A. So feel free to type those in. For those of you watching, if you are on Facebook or social media, feel free to throw that in the comments below. We will get to as many as we can tonight. So feel free to do that as I throw one more question at our plant scientists, Natasha and Jillian. So the weather's getting a little bit colder. So what are some ways you can incorporate greens this winter into foods?
I always include greens as like a salad, or I cook it in a stew or something.
Yeah, saute them, stick them in just about anything. If you're going to buy the micros, you can put that on everything right out of the package.
When I discovered microgreens, it was, I think, a game changer, because I think most people think of salads and maybe lettuces to some extent as being, some people think this, not me, that they're bland and sometimes, but I think with microgreens, they're so delicious and small and crunchy. And like you said, they can go on anything. I'll do them on like my eggs in the morning, just to add some extra greens. Of course, if you if you were vegan, you could do it on, like a vegan egg substitute or something like that, or maybe like a toast with avocado on it. It was really good too. So I have some questions coming in. Are you, you both have time to stick around for a few questions from our guests here? Let's see what we have coming in. So Paige asks here, this is, let's see, a couple questions. I'm just popping through here. We've got a lot of questions. Emily, I'm also looking to you. If you see a few you want me to prioritize, let me know, because this is one we've gotten a couple times, so I'll throw this out here because I do think this is something everyone's really curious about after seeing your image on both of y'all's backgrounds. But does AeroFarms do tours of the facility? I think I know the answer, but just because that is one we're getting a lot of that question.
No, unfortunately, we're not open to the public for tours, but you can check out our website and watch the videos and see a lot online.
Excellent. Yes, the video, and we're going to show that in just a few moments too, so everyone will get a good idea of what the inside kind of looks like and what it's all about. Now, Christine asked about microgreens. Can you tell us more about them? She hadn't heard of them before, which I love when programs like this kind of open our eyes to something new. So what are the benefits of choosing them? And are they grown differently than a traditional plant?
Sure. So microgreens are grown for a shorter period of time. That's why they're so small. But they are more beneficial because they have more nutrients than a regular sized plant, like a baby leafy green. Yeah, and it really has a lot more flavor. You'll find a microgreen is a little bit more spicy than a baby leafy green of the same variety. So it has more flavor and more nutritious. So they're very beneficial and fun to use.
And do you find that they grow faster or take longer or any, differently than like a traditional green, like a lettuce or something? I'm not sure what you would, find comparable, but something that's comparable.
It does grow faster. They're grown for a shorter period of time. So they do grow faster.
I have one question here from one of our viewers. And it says, what do you see for the future of sustainable farming?
Well, I think we would say indoor farming, just being from AeroFarms. But I think there's a lot of other opportunities for people to become more sustainable in their farming practices.
Absolutely. I also have another question here because we had mentioned about the microgreens and that they're on ShopRite and Whole Foods shelves to purchase. But you mentioned the spicy varieties. Can you talk a little bit about what the spicy variety is that you sell and what makes it spicy?
So the spicy mix that we sell, it's a mixture of mustard greens, which makes it a little bit more spicy than our other varieties that we currently grow.
Mustard greens. I think we've all bitten into a mustard green, and when you're eating one. Okay, let me see. I've got more questions coming in. Does the spicy mix have a name? I have a question here about the spicy mix. Is it just called spicy microgreens?
Yeah, it's just called spicy mix.
Spicy mix. That was from Barbara. And then I have a question here. Are microgreens only grown in a vertical growing environment?
No, other companies do grow them in greenhouses, and I'm sure you can grow them outdoors as well.
Excellent. I'd love to know if anybody in the chat has ever tried their hand at growing any microgreens. Let us know. We'd love to hear about that. Wonderful. We got some more questions coming in. I see one question here about plant height. I'm curious if there is like a height. I guess Kathy here has posed this question about because you're a vertical farm, right? Height is in the name. So how does the height of the plant kind of factor into what you can grow, or does it even?
Yeah, so at AeroFarms, we're always changing our technologies. So we don't really limit ourselves by certain plants that we can and cannot grow. We will find new growing systems and new ways to grow plants. Typically leafy greens, we don't really have that problem with stature. Everything fits quite nice in the tower. But yeah, we are definitely working on other plants that would not be grown vertically like this. So we always are updating our methods on growing.
And then I have a question here from, I believe, Tamara. What are the purple lights on the growing area for? And I believe, just to clarify for anyone watching at home, that she might be referring to the purple glow we see in your background of your tower here. Yeah, she's asking about those purple lights. Can you tell us a little more about those?
Yeah, that's a good eye. So yeah, we can provide different spectrums and intensities of lights to make the plants do different things that we want them to do. So we might give them a specific spectrum to increase the nutritional value, or change the color, or other characteristics that we're interested in. So that would be why you see different colors.
Is it similar to like plant lights that you can, indoor plant lights that you can purchase? I know for like at home, and if we have any at home growers, I've seen on the shelf like plant light bulbs that kind of simulate sort of indoor sunlight. Is that similar effect?
Yeah, so you'll see some of the new bulbs that you buy maybe for your house will have different ratios of red and blue and things like that. So we do play with those different spectrums at AeroFarms also.
I have a question from Sarah here about sustainability, which is perfect. That's part of what we're talking about tonight. And her question is, can you talk a little bit about the sustainability of the farm itself?
Yeah, so I think we touched on this a couple of times, just about it being a closed system. So we really are using the least amount of resources that we can. We're collecting a lot of data every grow. So we're really figuring out how to give the plant exactly what it needs, when it needs it, so we're not being wasteful. And then also recycling our resources.
Incredible. Just out of curiosity, what are some of the resources that you can recycle?
Yeah, so nutrient irrigation, we have a closed system for all the different environmental factors that we give the plants.
Excellent. Couple more questions coming in here. I have one from Barbara. Can you grow other foods like root veggies inside of AeroFarms? That's a great question, Barbara.
Yeah, we can definitely grow different types of vegetables at AeroFarms. We've trialed 550 different varieties, including berries and some tomato varieties as well. Yeah, but we're not limited to what we can grow. So there's a lot of different things that we can do here.
I think that was our last question. I want to thank everyone for bringing in those questions. If you have any last minute ones, throw them in. But I think I'm kind of circling through here. Make sure I'm seeing everyone's. I want to thank Natasha and Jillian for joining us. We have, they've shared with us a video that we're going to show here in just one moment to give everyone a little more insight, which is really cool because you can actually see inside the facility and learn a little bit more about AeroFarms and what they're doing. Thank you both so much for lending your expertise. Thank you for kind of opening our eyes to what you both do. And I have to know, because I asked at the beginning, what was your favorite food you were thinking of?
Microgreens, obviously, right?
I set that one up for you, didn't I? Natasha, what about you?
Definitely microgreens.
Definitely microgreens. Well, I'm glad that we all chatted about our favorite foods. We had some comments in the chat that were pizza and eggnog and ice cream, of course. And, you know, I just wanted us all to think about our favorite foods as we went into this conversation, because we don't want any of those to go away. And even though we don't grow ice cream, or we don't, you know, grow eggnog or things like that, pizza, the resources you need to produce those items can definitely be challenged. So I'm glad that we got to speak with you two and learn a little bit more about what you're doing. And let me share a little more with our viewers here. Can everyone see that okay? All right.
The world is at an inflection point. We have tremendous population growth. At the same time, we're depleting our farmland and depleting our fresh water. We need a new paradigm of how we're going to feed our planet. Vertical farming is one of those solutions, as it enables us to grow plants at scale close to cities so people can enjoy fresh, healthy, environmentally smart food. Welcome to AeroFarms, the world leader in vertical farming. We have all these amazing people coming together with the purpose of how do we grow a great plant at a lower capital cost, a lower operating cost. And that includes looking at the biological side, the genetic side, the operational, the environment. It's the data science that pulls it all together. This enables us to grow plants, whether it's on the equator or the North Pole, anywhere in the world.
Our technology is proven. It works. We achieve yields, we achieve productivity that's everything it needs to be to have a very, very positive return for our investors going forward. The leafy green segment is one that has a lot of pressure in the market. We just really transform that by having a locally grown product that's amazingly high quality.
We already are operating a commercial leafy green business at scale in the Northeast with major retail customers and also food service customers. We have a platform that is scalable and expandable. I'm very confident of scaling the organization, having led 88 factories on the globe.
AeroFarms is really unique. I believe that AeroFarms will play a vital role in the future of food. Most of our business is going through established retail food suppliers, companies like Whole Foods, ShopRite, and others.
Apologies. No, it's my internet maybe. There we go.
What I'm here to do is translate our opportunities into successful execution so that we grow a large, profitable company.
There are so many things that make our company special, but it's the people, it's the technology, and it's the vision of what we're trying to do for the world in a sustainable way. I'm
going to leave it there because we want to tease it. We didn't want to show the whole thing, but I want to encourage everyone to check out the rest of that video. It is on YouTube and also find it on AeroFarms' website, of course. Jillian, Natasha, do you want to leave our viewers with a little more information of how they can follow along, find out more about you all, maybe remind them where they can find your product?
Yeah, so follow us on Instagram. You can get a lot of good information from our social medias, and check us out on Whole Foods, ShopRite, Stop and Shop, Walmart.
Excellent. So Instagram, get on Instagram. Find out where AeroFarms, what they'll be up to next, maybe what their new product is. Make sure you check them out. And I want to just shout out all of you. Thank you all so much for being part of this program and for joining us. As I mentioned, this is all in partnership with our exhibition, Endangered, that just opened 2 weeks ago. It's going to be on view until April. We'd love for you to come check it out. You can see more like this. You can learn about endangered animals, and you can learn about what you can do to also help curb some of these issues that we've discussed today. And programming for endangered, such as the program we're doing tonight, is made possible by a grant from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. And it's also with support from Fannie and Morris Sklaw Foundation, the Merrill G. and Amidahi Hastings Foundation, Eleanor K. Cohen, and generous individual donors. We're so grateful to our donors. And if you would like to join and also support the museum, you can find more information about that on the screen right now. So I've got that pulled up for you. Don't miss Endangered. It will be on view at the museum. You can come in. We are open Thursday to Sunday. You can grab some timed tickets on our Eventbrite or just stop in. We are following COVID procedures, so just make sure you have a peek at our website before you come so you're ready. And Jillian, Natasha, I want to say one more thank you so much. Barbara is saying in the chat, thank you. Great session. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you, Emily, for your kind words. And we couldn't have done it without our partners at AeroFarms. We're so grateful for our partnership with you all. And I want to say thank you one more time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. Thanks, Jillian. Thanks, everyone watching at home. Come by and see us at the New York Museum of Art. As I mentioned, open Thursday to Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'd love to see you. That's all for right now. We can't wait to see you at our next program and event. If you are looking for something fun to do this winter, don't miss our community weekend coming up December 10th and December 11th. And this will be an on-site program. So if you're local, if you're in the Newark area, we'd love for you to come see us. On Friday, December 10th, we'll be having an event for grown-ups, 21 plus. We'll be hanging out, be having a DJ and some fun events going on. And that's from 5 to 9 p.m. And then Saturday, we'll have our Community Day event for families in all ages. We'll have an iceless skating rink. We'll have craft activities, some hip hop dance performances. The whole weekend, community weekend, is free and open to everyone. Just check out our Eventbrite page where you can grab a free ticket to come see us and hang out. It's going to be cold, but you know what? We're going to have some hot coffees, and for the grown-ups, maybe some drinks and things to keep you warm. So we hope you will join us December 10th and 11th at the Newark Museum of Art for our holiday weekend. We'd love to have you there. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Natasha and Jillian. Have a great night, and we'll see you all at our next program.